Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast, where we empower you to build a better ranch and transform your operations into a thriving business. I'm your host, John Haskell. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast. I am pleased today to be joined on very short notice by Reece Klug. Reece, how are you?
Doing well.
Very good. We are going to talk today about farming, and which is not a topic we often talk about, but given the current market and the current ordeal, if you will, that most row crop farmers are going through, you've got a situation that I really want to visit about. We're going to talk today about the difference between conventional and organic farming. So, Reece, would you give us a little background on yourself, and then we'll jump into the two different types of farms that you run?
Yep. So I farm with my brother and my dad and my brother-in-law on a farm here in eastern Nebraska. Columbus, Nebraska is where we're at. And we do a little bit of organic and a little bit of conventional. We have a feedlot as well that helps the organic and the conventional side of everything. And we farm corn, beans, alfalfa. That's pretty much the short of it.
Excellent. How you guys have been in conventional for quite a while, right? How did you get into the organic deal?
Yeah, so I came back from college in 2014, just very conventional tillage. We worked everything, mostly corn on corn is what we did for the feedlot, and we introduced some soybeans in there. And to get some more feed for the feedlot, we started introducing rye and chopping that. And then we kind of went down the no-till cover crops, kind of soil health journey. And after about 4 or 5 years of that, we weren't really seeing too much improvement in anything when it comes to the soil health. I mean, we're still getting good yields. The organic matter wasn't going upwards. I mean, we're still using commercial fertilizers, everything like that.
Okay.
Crop prices were pretty low. We started in 2019, and we were just looking for a different way to be a little more profitable and find some other way to farm, I guess. Yeah, we had some ground that was in alfalfa at the time, and we kind of got started on that. It hadn't had any fertilizer or insecticide or anything like that for 3 years, and that's how long it takes to go organic. And we tried it out there, had some pretty good successes, had some failures as well. Over the years, you get better at it, and you learn from your mistakes, I guess.
Good. We hope so, right?
Yeah.
As you got going in that process, what all was involved? I mean, more than just the learning. There's a whole series of things that have to happen, right?
Right. So I would say the biggest thing is a mindset change from being dependent on inputs to letting the ground do more work for you, and getting the rotations right, getting your biology right to go to that next crop so that you have enough fertility and the weed pressure isn't there, and just little things like that really help get it going. We've noticed in our, from the conventional to the organic side, the soil health, even on the no-till cover crop stuff, compared to the organic that we do all this tillage, and we're still using cover crops on the organic side, but there's just a huge difference in the way the soil tilth and the way it smells and the way it acts. I don't know. It's just completely different. It seems like it's more alive. There's just more life there. And it doesn't require near as much inputs as you would think.
Yeah. And give us a little bit of description of Columbus. What kind of soil are you in there? You kind of a sandy loam?
No, we are in silt loam soil. Really good, mostly irrigated soil, pretty flat.
Okay. And you're kind of east central Nebraska, right?
East central Nebraska, right north of the Platte River Valley.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do have some sand and some rolling hills when we get further north. Really good ground for the area.
Okay. And what kind of timeline was it that you saw these changes happen over?
So it's kind of been at least the first 3 years. Once you get into it, and that fourth and fifth year, something changes in the soil. I'm not sure what it is. If it's biology that's really starting to ramp up with none of the herbicides going on there or anything like that. Yeah, that's really when I've noticed the big change. And we had one year that we grazed a cover crop for the whole year. Well, I guess we ended up turning them out later than we wanted, but that next year corn, it was weed free. I mean, relatively, and we only had one cultivation pass on it and really good yields. And we haven't been able to replicate that since, but next year,
Always
26,
next year, huh?
we're getting cattle back on the ground.
Yeah. And tell me again, how long ago was it that you sort of first started?
So it was 2019 going into 2020.
Okay. So you're at 6 years now.
Yep. We've added around 100 acres pretty
Okay.
much every year.
Yeah. Good for you. Okay. So you've got 6 years, 5 years, 4 years. You can kind of see the sequence.
Right.
And you're seeing that first 3-year change happen over and over again.
Yeah. Like at first, when you start working the ground, it's really clumpy and it just seems like it's not really alive, even coming out of the cover crop type of scenario.
Yep. Interesting. And when you guys plant cover crops down there, what are you planting?
So after corn and beans, it's mostly just rye, but
Okay.
we're integrating more wheat and rye into the rotation. And then that's where we're getting our warm season cover crop blends, putting those in. And then we're also using clovers and alfalfa frost seeded into the wheat and then planting the warm season covers into that clover and just getting an amazing amount of stockpile grazing for the fall.
Okay. And you're grazing custom cows, grazing your own cows? What are you doing there?
I guess it's kind of custom. It's my brother and brother-in-law that have bred Angus cows.
And you're integrating that with what you guys are doing at the feedlot, or is this totally separate?
Yep.
Okay.
So are you talking the cows or
The grazing in general.
Yes. So next year we will have ground right next to the feedlot that we're going to run some stockers on, grow them up instead of a backgrounding yard.
Good. What are you seeing for performance on those covers?
So, yeah, the year that we did it, it was about 2.5 pounds of gain per day. And we had them on there. We had 300 and some. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. 300 and some on 55 acres, something like that. And they ran for a month and a half. We turned them out later than we really wanted to. And we were worried about the prussic acid poisoning. One night we tried to chase them all into the there's a little pasture that we were going to do. And we ended up, it got too late. We couldn't get them chased in there. And they stayed out there. And there was enough other things that they knew not to eat, the sorghum and millets.
And so this is fall, I assume you're getting your first frost, and that's what got you worried about prussic acid.
Yep.
And so then is that generally the plan? Is that a September, October, November type time frame? What is your time frame generally on those?
Generally, that's what we're doing when we're following wheat or rye. If we can get it in and up in July by July 15th, maybe end of July, all the way to August 1st.
Yeah, great.
We're starting to put some more oats and more millets just as more of a stockpile to try to get us to push that far. For next year, we have rye planted in there now. We're going to chop the rye, take it to the feedlot, and then we'll put that warm season grazing in. So that'll be June 1st. So we're going to have the whole summer, and we should get several turns out of those paddocks.
Yeah, cool. Running a ranch is full-time and then some. But sometimes the best move you can make is to step away and work on the business, not just in it. Join us for the 2026 Ranch Right Retreat, February 16th through the 19th, 2026 in Orange Beach, Alabama. We'll spend 4 days digging into strategy, systems, and growth, and you'll leave with knowledge and tools you can use at home. You might even catch a cool sunset or two at the beach. Space is limited, so grab your seat now at ranchritellc.com. Okay, let's talk about the market for organic crops. Now, you feed some of them through the lot, right, through the yard.
No, that
Okay.
is a completely conventional yard.
Okay. So all the feed in the yard is conventional. Good. So let's talk about the marketing the organic crop.
Yes. So there is a lot more markets than I would have ever thought for organic. We're using 2 local elevators that load up on a rail right now, but there's plenty of end users that will pay trucking to come and pick it up off farm. We haven't really got there yet just because we have the trucks, but next year we're definitely going to go more of the food grade, get a little more specialty markets. Like right now, feed corn is right around 7.75, somewhere in there, and beans are right around 20, maybe a little more.
Okay. And we're recording this in November of 25. So give me the comparison on the conventional.
Conventional, I think corn's under 450.
Yeah.
Beans are right around 11, maybe a little less.
So you're talking double-ish?
Double-ish on the beans and over 50% on the corn.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So does that make a difference to the bottom line? Does that work for you?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Well, the biggest thing is just the lack of inputs. I mean, yes, it's more time in the field, but you're actually out there. You're in the ground. You know the crop better than you've ever known. You're spending time out there. You're seeing exactly what's going on. I mean, you've got a rotary hoe for corn. You're usually working in the cover crop and then working again right before planting. And then you got the planter cost and then a rotary hoe and then usually 2 cultivations after that. And then corn is pretty easy to do. I shouldn't say easy, it's simple.
Yes.
But beans, those are a different story. I don't particularly care for beans, but they
You're not
seem
the
to be
first one I've heard that from.
They're very profitable if you can get them to stay clean. Organic beans, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So, and what this means in many cases, and we're seeing it yours in spades, I think, is a lot of the row crop farmers we're looking at, we have a 3 crop rotation and maybe 2 out of the 3 are profitable. The last couple of years, maybe not. But you're really, you've got all 3 of those crops are significantly profitable, correct?
The wheat and the rye aren't quite as profitable as the corn and beans, which is pretty typical.
But you're not going backwards very fast on the wheat or the rye.
Right. It's more of a build year for the corn. So our typical...
it's your low cost year.
Yes, very low cost.
Let's jump back a little. I want to talk about the certification process and how people get started in this, because there is a process to become certified organic, right?
Right. So it takes 3 years to do it. Well, 36 months after your last application. So say you spray Roundup in June, as long as you harvest the crop after June of that 3rd year. So it's technically 2 crop years.
Yep, that makes sense. All right, and then what kind? You always hear about the disaster that happens in their intervening 2 crop years. What is that? What did that look like for you guys?
So we've tried several different ways of transitioning. I've heard.
Oh yeah, you've had like 6 rounds of this, right? As you do it each year. Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah.
What have you learned here?
So alfalfa is probably the simplest and the best way to start. If you can grow transition crops that are clean in those 2 years, then you're going to have better luck in that 3rd year. Clean as in weed free, or not weed free, just you're not piling up the weed seed bank right away.
How long does a stand of alfalfa normally last in your part of the world?
Usually about 5 years is what people take it, but we're doing those 2 years. And then that 3rd year, we're coming in, taking off first cutting and chopping it and getting it worked and planted to corn right away.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Having very good luck.
And are you doing that to maximize your weed suppression with the alfalfa?
For first cutting wise, or just alfalfa in general?
Well, and the 2 years only, because those first couple of years are going to be your most productive, right? So you're going to have the most competition for weeds.
Right. Yes, we're going to I mean, you go out there and cut it 4 times a year. There's no time for any weeds to put any seed head on. I mean, pigweed really tries. Alfalfa is an amazing plant.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so you get through that, you plant the corn into it, and then you're kind of off and running at that point because now you're in your third season.
You're in the third season. The profitability goes way up. Time in the field goes way up.
What kind of yield change do you see like on your corn in that first transition?
So usually it's pretty good around here for conventional. Around 240 to 250 would be a good average. I think this year we averaged right around 190 on the organic. Last year we were around 160, and the year before that it was right around that 185. So we're kind of succeeding, kind of improving, and this year was an exceptional year for rain. It was more like Iowa around here.
Well, yeah, one wonderful crop year. Yeah, all across your region. So that was pretty nice. But if we said your average was 250 long-term conventional and we drop you to 180, that's basically a 70% production, but you're doubling the price or doing a 50% increase on the price, let's say.
50% increase on the price and probably close to 70 to 80% reduction in input costs.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
You don't
and
have the herbicide.
When we're talking corn, what's your establishment cost per acre conventional versus organic?
On that, it'd probably be right around 500 on the conventional.
Yeah.
At least.
I was going to say, you may be a little low there, but okay.
Yeah, it's probably a little more than that.
Okay.
And then just the establishment cost, it'd probably be around 200 to 300, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so that's a big reduction.
The seed cost is about the same.
Right.
But the
chemical.
The biggest savings is all the money that's not just poof gone. The herbicide, the fertilizer, the 32. I mean, that's 1 year and it's just gone.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you increase your gross margin per unit, per bushel, but then you also, and you may reduce the bushels some, but you increase the price. So that more than offsets those two things. Those two things more than offset the changed yield.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Profitability has been significantly higher per acre on the organic, even with the transition years included into there.
Okay. Any rough numbers off the top of your head you want to share there? I don't want to put you on the spot. We have looked at your financials repeatedly for a couple of years and been, I'll just say, shocked by the difference. I mean, I had no idea it was that much better. Do you have any rough numbers to share?
Yeah. So I think I was pulling this up a little bit before, and over the last 3-year average, it was right around $420 an acre profit on the organic side. And then the conventional side, I don't have my numbers quite as good, but I would guess somewhere between 100 to 200, maybe. Yeah. And this year, obviously, lower.
Yeah, your numbers and mine are about the same. Right. And again, in a year like this where conventional row crop is just being brutalized, like I say, seeing your numbers on the organic side is just incredible because this is about as bad as it gets, I assume.
Yeah. And organic prices usually aren't, organic corn prices usually aren't this low either.
Yeah. Right. And when conventional prices go up, do organic prices shadow them? And I mean, do they follow kind of at a similar proportion, or are they more variable, less variable? What do you think?
It's more of a free market. The buyers are really kind of setting the price, and you can actually talk to the grain buyers, and you can probably get 10 cents or 20 cents out of them if they know that your product is good.
Okay. And I assume with the 5-year, 6-year track record you've got at this point, they know what you're selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really helps.
Cool. Well, this thing that you and Lindsay have built is pretty spectacular. So I am really impressed with what you guys have done. Like I say, in a pretty dark period for row crop agriculture, you guys are a shining star in that. So the reason I wanted to get you on now is just as people are making decisions for next year and for the future, they consider this as an option because, like I say, from our standpoint, it's a completely different situation. Any final thoughts? Oh, one other thing I did want to ask you about. Sorry, before we get to final thoughts, do you use any of there are some USDA programs that will help with the conversion? Do you guys use any of those?
We did in the first years.
Okay.
And now we've kind of gotten away from them.
Okay. Are they helpful or are they not worth it?
It's definitely helpful, and it's relatively easy to do. There's not a whole lot of, I shouldn't say not a whole lot of paperwork, but when it comes to the certification side, there is a lot of paperwork for grain tracking, and we have a really good software that we use to help us do all this. It comes at a cost, but it's 100% worth it. They're helping us work with our certifier to make sure all of our T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Good. And I'm sure the audit process on that works just like it does with livestock when we're doing certifications like NHTC, that sort of thing. You have somebody you work with on an annual basis that does some kind of inspection and verification.
Yes, they come out every year. Usually it's in the summertime, and go and look at every field, and they just make sure you got the correct crop buffers to go around all the fields. You need at least a 30-foot buffer if it's next to a conventional field.
Okay.
Yeah, they look at all that and come and look at all the bin storage, and they definitely go through all the records for grain tracking and making sure there's no commingling of anything, combine clean out, planter clean out, stuff like that, they sound very complex, very hard to do, but it's really easy. Once you get the hang of it, it takes 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, good. And again, looks like it's worth your time. So for a 4-fold increase in your per acre profitability, that's pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good return to your time.
Yes. And when it comes to your podcast and people that listen to this, there's a huge opportunity to grow cover crops and graze on those in the transition years. I mean, that's where we are really wanting to get to, is have 2 crops of corn and then go back to a full year of grazing. That's kind of the end goal, but we don't have very many fences around here.
Right.
Really
perennial problem in your part of the world. Yes. And as Wally and Grant and I, we partner on things that, and have really been trying to find more cover crop opportunities, people that are making that conversion where we can bring cattle in to be helpful to them, that sort of thing. Those situations can work very, very well. But like I say, often there's some infrastructure need there that,
we've built a lot of fence in the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. All right. Now, having asked that, I'll ask you again, any final thoughts? Anything we didn't cover?
I don't think so. Just, it takes a lot of time to be able to get your mindset right, to get off of all the Band-Aids and everything and be more proactive with your soil, have a longer term view on your ground and the crop rotations and how the soil is actually acting.
Yeah. Love it. So important as we get to know these systems better, right? If we're going to get them to perform at a high level, that's what we need.
Yeah, in the down market, it's fun to do. It's a fun challenge.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, one of the things I really appreciate, we hear a lot of talk about practices and how they can cause profitability. One thing that's really cool in your case is that, man, the evidence is there in spades. So I really appreciate you being willing to jump on with me on short notice and record this. Are you willing to answer questions if people want help doing this on their own place or even thinking about it?
Yeah. My cell phone number is 402-910-4805. You can link my email in the show notes. That works.
Bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm open to. I get a lot of tractor time, so I'll be in the tractor or in the truck.
So somebody can call.
Yep.
All right. That sounds awesome. Well, Reece, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this. And thanks to Lindsay for keeping kids occupied while we're recording. And we will talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, John. Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. Thank you for tuning into the Ranchnomics podcast. We hope this episode helped you win today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend.